of you. Uh, Happy to be here and presenting to you on this topic. This topic of unlocking power of AI and cognitive analytics is very, very pertinent in this environment today with the rapid advances that AI is taking. In the environment of a complex procurement scenario that we are seeing going forward. And as we unlock the power of AI, it's going to be a lot of help for sorting out the complexities of procurement. Now, a disclaimer, I'm not a specialist on AI or cognitive technologies. I'm a practitioner of that. I'm into purchasing for 2.5 decades now. Last 10 years, I have been working on how we can bring in analytics into purchasing and simplify the processes, get data insights for faster decision making, and getting to perform much better. So that's been my effort all through. And the way AI is making advances, it's very, very enthusiastic for us in the purchasing function to see what all can be done, because there are severe limitations that we see with the kind of analytics that we had earlier. My predecessor, the person who was speaking in from before us was talking about data problems. Yes, data problems are there, but let's see how AI can sort out the data problems. Otherwise, we can keep on talking about data and not move forward. So let's see the procurement evolution which has happened over a period of time. In the pre-90s, when I started my career with Maruti, it was more of completely manual processes. One had to queue up in front of the phones to call up the suppliers. We were moving from a crisis to crisis, and that was the kind of situation where we had no insights coming from anywhere. We had no supply visibility. Moving forward, we had some basic functions like spreadsheets and those things available to us, a basic record-keeping digital tools available. And as we moved forward in early 2000s, I remember my tenure in Maruti, we introduced EDI at that time, which was early 2002, 2003. That simplified a lot of things. It simplified the things not just for the purchasers, but for the suppliers as well. They knew precisely well as to what Maruti wanted, and accordingly they would invoice and keep the material ready a day in advance. And so they were able to plan it out much better. And the kind of crisis that we were living in actually came down. So that was one big step which happened at that time. As we move forward, one significant step which happened was the computing power. Computing power improved. We saw the advent of cloud computing. With that, the server space which was occupying all our factories has actually come down. We moved the server space to the cloud, and it has also enhanced the computing power. And SAP HANA, at M&M, we have already migrated to HANA. And we are able to do warehousing, data warehousing, and all those things much faster, dealing with much more complex data, more voluminous data at a faster time. Early 2020s, what we are seeing is the advent of AI and cognitive analytics. Before that, from 2000 onwards or even earlier, AI was already there. But from a rudimentary manner, AI has actually progressed over a period of time. So we've seen the advent of neural networks and how neural networks has gone deeper into deep learning, which is all about how the capability of the systems to actually analyze the data, understand the data, and learn the data. Now, what has happened with AI and cognitive analytics put together is you've actually helped the systems to mimic the human brain, and that is where the reasoning power is coming in, and that is where the decision-making power is coming in. As we move forward with Gen AI and AI agents, which are there now with the help of LLMs, they are capitalized on the technology of large language models. We are able to work on unstructured data, and that is where we see an application where even if you don't have the right data, how can you capitalize on it and get insights for better decision making? That is what we are looking forward, going forward. You all know about the levels of analytics, data analytics. You know about the four levels, which starts from descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive. And now the fifth layer has got added, which is the cognitive layer. And it's all about how the AI has progressed over a period of time. So in descriptive, we are just describing the problems. Diagnostic, we are understanding the problem as to why it has happened. In predictive, it is more about predictive trends, predicting forecasts. Moving into prescriptive, it is about recommendations coming from the system. And as we moved on to cognitive, it is about mimicking the human brain, the ability of the system to learn, understand, reason, and come out with strategic solutions or solutions which are optimizing the scenario that they are in. Going deeper into it, if I make a simple understanding of things, it's about when you're plotting it between business value and the complexity of the situation, you will see that cognitive analytics works on the highest level of complexity and generates the highest business value. So as we are migrating from the prescriptive, the diagnostic layer to the prescriptive, predictive, and the cognitive layer, what we are seeing is we are moving from a data layer to an information layer and moving to the optimization layer, which is about the system ability to understand, think, reason, understand the data patterns, the complexity about it, and come out with optimized solutions, which is generally not available or difficult for anybody to understand considering the volume of data. So we were actually working on analytics till the level of predictive analytics. Now the jump from predictive to prescriptive and to cognitive is a huge jump, which is going to aid the buyers into delivering solutions with not so much of data around them in a structured manner, which was always the ask. So the ask was always, do you have the data? And it would always come out that we do not have so much of data available with us. It's not that all the solutions are in front of us, but at least the technology is there now so that we can capitalize on it with whatever data we have in today, because most of the data now is in unstructured format if you look at it. Somebody talked about risk. Now the risk data is not available everywhere. If somebody talked about governance. Now governance has so many layers to it in terms of compliance. Now where is the data available for it? There are some sorts of data available, but a lot of data is not available in the public space. So how do you make sense of that data? And that's where cognitive analytics comes in, which analyzes the complexity of the data and comes out with the insights. Just recapping and putting it more in a straightforward fashion, what has AI done? AI is able to mimic the human brain and reason. And what cognitive analytics does is it sits the AI simulation, which actually simulates the human brain, combines it with machine learning abilities, and comes out with capabilities of interpreting unstructured data, which is of importance in procurement evolution in the form of automation of procurement processes. You do understand today that we have, the buyers have to do some core jobs in terms of strategic importance, but there are so many non-core jobs which can actually be automated with the help of AI. This can actually help in also decision making, because we can actually have AI agents do a lot of things which the buyers are themselves doing. It's not about low value automation, it's also about the AI able to take decisions and act on its own. This will help us in optimizing our supply chains to a big extent. We all know that in our purchasing landscape, we have huge long tails of suppliers, which can actually be optimized with the help of AI. We can be able to manage risk much better, interpreting the data coming out from different sources and use it the way we want. If you look at the current challenges in the procurement landscape, it is about inefficiencies and bottlenecks that we see today. I did mention that purchasing or procurement is very, very complex now. Considering the way we are growing, at least at M&M that we see, we were handling a purchasing spend of 30,000 crores 5 years back. We are handling 66,000 crores of purchasing spend now. With this voluminous growth of purchasing spend, we are also adding suppliers, we are adding technologies, we are adding so many different procurement steps. There's a complexity in terms of ESG compliance which is coming in. There's a complexity of sanctions to deal with. There's a complexity of compliance to deal with. When there are so many complexities around, and then you have to also see that the suppliers are giving you the right quality at the right time, which means that you have to select the best of the suppliers for any of the products that you're dealing with. So in such of a complex environment, if we do not have AI with you, then it's very difficult to operate. So in a complex environment, if you have to deal with so many things while you are doing the core jobs, then the core jobs get delayed, and hence the inefficiencies come as a barrier in your performance. We have so many manual tasks around which create errors which can be sorted out. We have poor system integration today in terms of how the data is coming in and how you are able to ingest the data and perform. With the lack of data in the terms of real-time availability, and in terms of inaccuracy, it becomes very, very difficult to operate in this particular scenario. With the data not being there, it's very difficult to understand the data trends and take the right decision. Supplier management, as I was talking about, is about risk management. It's about compliance. It's about getting the right quality from the suppliers and having the right suppliers. To have all this in place, you need to have all the data with us. Coming on top of it, we know how post-COVID we had basic issues of supplies which affected all of us. It was because we had no visibility on what kind of supplies which are going to come to us. And in that situation, we were actually operating in kind of a scenario where there was suspense around what material would come at a particular time or what would not come. And that would lead to production stoppages and business hindrance. Now, how can AI be leveraged in these kinds of situations? First one is pure basic data analytics. At M&M, we have implemented basic data analytics way back, 6-7 years back. We've been able to harness data analytics to get good spend visibility and savings identification. With the savings identification, we have been able to harness a lot of cost savings because the data analytics is giving us right insights at the right time, which is able to unearth so much of value, which is just hidden in the data itself, which is very difficult to operate on a manual manner. Market intelligence and benchmarking is about getting external data, which can give you real-time information about what is happening in the outside world and use it to get the right benchmarks for your products that you're working on. You can work on supplier trends in terms of supply market trends, in terms of what is happening in the commodity space. Compliance and policy adherence is something very important. Data analytics can actually help you to understand non-compliance on the part of the suppliers. Non-compliance could be in terms of GST, it could be in terms of PF, it could be in terms of not adhering to the sanctions policies dictated by outside governments. Now, all these have to be tracked. Data analytics can help you in getting some information, not all the information. Especially on sanctions, you just can't get the information which US government is privy to. Predictive analytics is about demand and forecasting, demand and price forecasting. This can be used for a lot of applications to create demand and inventory management. Supplier risk and performance analytics is about ensuring that you are able to manage disruptions. Moving into automation, which is about application of AI agents, we can automate a lot of tasks which are non-value-added stuff which is being done by the buyers today, which can free them up to do more core jobs and more strategic jobs. Supplier onboarding and automation is also something which we can look up to with the help of AI agents and Gen AI application, and similarly contract lifecycle management. At M&M, I'll just elucidate on what all stuffs we have done. First is on supplier risk monitoring. We have done a lot of stuff over here where we are able to have lead indicators into financial stress of the suppliers by monitoring GST compliance with the suppliers, by having P&L statements of the suppliers coming from the government sites. And we don't need to analyze the information on our own. It comes predefined in a structured format for us, wherein we are able to convert it into risk score and analyze suppliers which are having a higher risk scores and working with them to ensure that there is less risk with us. We've used spend analytics to unearth cost savings at M&M. With the voluminous data that we have, we are able to identify outliers in the form of price differences which might be there between two different plants. It could be also between two different suppliers, and use that information to correct the pricing, get more savings on the table. We are also able to do higher level of analytics in terms of linear price performance with parametric information using linear regression and having a predictive pricing, and also identifying outliers in terms of price deviation. Automated supplier evaluation is about getting the suppliers on board, evaluating them on different parameters. It could be compliance, it could be financial strength of the supplier, technological capability. We use all of that information to evaluate with the help of analytics and then onboard them. Now, there's another one which we have implemented in the last 2-3 years is about supply visibility. This came post-COVID. We have used supplier collaboration platforms where we engage with the suppliers to get them to answer to us on all the on the requirement much beforehand, much before or on the N-1 time frame, so that we can understand what is the supply visibility or supply constraints we are going to face in the next 2-3 months, and alter our production plans accordingly. Automated dashboards is something which we are working on right now, which is using the LLM models. This is about putting an AI layer on top of the analytics that we've already implemented. The purpose of the AI layer on top of the analytics is actually to get dashboards generated by AI, wherein you are actually democratizing the technology of analytics so that the hundreds of new buyers who come into the organization don't really know about your platform and can actually use it agnostic of the technology. So they just need to put an unstructured query or an unstructured question, and and AI will actually be able to generate dashboards on its own. So that is the attempt that we are making, and that will be very, very helpful to us because it will be giving us a lot of insights. It will actually help the buyers to get so much of information which is very difficult to get in. There are other automotive use cases that I have put on over here in terms of what BMW has done in terms of optimizing its supply chain and procurement processes. Toyota has used AI for demand forecasting and inventory management. Volkswagen has integrated AI into procurement process to enhance supplier selection. And we have Ford, which has implemented AI for contract management. So all the big automotive firms, and I'm talking about automotive since I come from an automotive industry, since the volume of data is very huge and the compliance and compliance scenario, ESG scenario are very, very complicated to handle. We have to use AI to a big extent to survive. Just giving you information on AI agent, just to start with, to give a simplified answer on what an AI agent is. AI agent is simply a software intelligence program, which is using intelligence to work autonomously with a buyer. It's able to reason, it's able to analyze, it's able to self-learn and take decisions. So what does it do? It understands what you need from a buyer. It takes actions on its own because it has learning capability and reasoning capability. It works even when you're not there and proposes best decision possible for a given scenario. So that's what an AI agent can do. And if an AI agent can do this, then we can deploy AI agents for a lot of things. We are yet to see AI agents working for us. I'll be happy to engage with the experts sitting out here, but this is something which is going to revolutionize the purchasing environment for us. If I look at use cases for AI agents, it is about finding the best supplier. The way you work for identifying a best supplier, the same AI agent can do, and probably much better because it can scan the market environment for the technology that you want, understand whether they are compliant or not, what is the financial strength, and propose the supplier to you. It can work as a negotiation co-pilot. It can propose as a checklist as to what are the activities that you need to do. It can actually find out what are the price benchmarks which can be used to define a target price and send the best offer to the supplier and suggest the best strategies for a negotiation scenario. So that's what a negotiation co-pilot can do. It can actually be a big aid for a new buyer who comes into the environment and define the steps for it so that it doesn't falter. It can work for low-value activities also in terms of generating purchase orders, depending on the demand levels, depending on the level of inventory that you have. As we mentioned, it can work on managing contracts in terms of identifying what are the price changes which have happened, compliance issues. It can identify all those things and ensure that your contracts are managed in the best manner. It helps to also prevent missed deadlines. Now, when we have defined deadlines or even defined certain contractual conditions, it's able to actually spot it out and ensure that that you actually get the real benefits. So suppose you have defined in your contract that there is a year-on reduction which should happen, and we've tried a lot to implement it in SAP, but we've not been able to do it. But AI agents can actually help you to understand or to raise at the right time that this is the activity that you need to do. Analyzing spend, again, AI agents can come as a very handy to you in terms of giving you all pertinent data related to benchmark information so that you can negotiate much better. It gives you all kind of information so that you can generate cost-saving ideas for your company. Risk management, which is the most important thing and the least understood and the most proclaimed by everybody that they can actually do it. And I can tell you that many of the companies have not progressed on risk management. We are at a very rudimentary level on risk management. That's what I should say, because the risk management we talk about getting information from social media about geopolitical issues, about any kind of a geographical issue which is happening is one thing. But the complexity is actually much deeper because you know that our supply chain is actually tiered. We have information about tier 1 suppliers, but we do not have information about tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 suppliers. And this is especially true for our exposure in the global environment to an international area. So suppose something happens in Japan, if I have a tier 1 supplier located over there, I very well know what is my risk exposure to it. But I would not know about a risk exposure because of a tier 2, tier 3 supplier sitting anywhere which is getting affected because of any of the risks. And that's where we should actually look at how AI can bring in information for us, which can be useful, so that even if I don't have the data, how it can skim through the data and give us some information which can be probably very unstructured for us to work on. So this is something which I would expect all the experts who are there to discuss with us to how we can do it. We have solutions coming from pre-wave and all, but they sit on Google. They are able to give generalistic information about what could be the possible tier 2, tier N supply chain. But how can we build more accuracy around it so that the information which comes to us is more accurate? So the future outlook is about how the future of procurement will see actually how we can have a greater integration of AI. And the companies which embrace these technologies will be actually the ones which will be most benefiting in terms of handling the complexities of AI moving forward. So I would just implore upon everybody who's on the purchasing fraternity to actually harness the power of AI as we move forward to our advantage. And that's what is the strategy in front of us in terms of performing much better. Thank you very much. Would be happy to have any questions from you.
Thank you so much, Ritesh sir. We can have the questions.
Hello, sir. I am Ajit from GOBP. Thank you very much, sir, for wonderful insight about the AI. My question is regarding the negotiating prices, right? So, cost estimation is one big aspect during the negotiation, cost estimation. So, how AI GenAI can help us for the cost estimation purpose and even for the budgeting part during the annual planning, how we can utilize this technology?
So there is a basic level of analytics which is available. Depending on the commodity, if it's a proprietary part, it depends on parametric information. If it is a non-proprietary part, it will sit on simple information like weight of the part, the processes, and all those things. You can have LLMs working with the linear price performance kind of techniques with regression, working on historical data to give you an insight into what is the possible price that you should have, which is nothing but predictive pricing. Now, this can be an aid to a purchaser to understand what is the right price I should benchmark when I'm negotiating with the supplier. Basically, harnessing historical data that you have in front of you, running LLP on it or regression models on it to give you the right pricing. But it is easier said than done because you will not have all the information. And that's where AI can actually come in to get you the data. And that's where we should be actually demanding from all the companies who are selling, say, different softwares as to how AI can be harnessed to get you the data. And then you have a lot of analytics to run on it to get you the best insight.
Thank you. Thank you.